Hey, what's up, online community? And thanks for stopping by and checking out another segment of Straight No Chaser, where I talk sports and culture for fans, oftentimes with the fans. Now, I've been on a little bit of a hiatus for the past couple of weeks, which has allowed me to kind of regain my energy, but also, more importantly, catch up on some topics that are happening in the world of sports as well as in the world around us in general. Now, today I decided to go it alone. I had some people that wanted to join me, but I wanted to use this opportunity to really give my direct thoughts in terms of some of the things that's going on both in our country and also in the world of sports. But before we get into it, you know how we do. Grab your favorite libation. We're about to get into it. Straight No Chaser. Let's see what else we have here. What else did I pull from the mailbox? So I've had this conversation, and Chris Ninyanji sent me this. Chris Ninyanji. I apologize for not being able to pronounce it. With COVID cases being up, should NCAA cancel the football season? So, in my opinion, and we just saw Notre Dame, they are rescheduling their game against Wake Forest. They just announced that today. They're moving that to December 12th. We've seen a couple teams in Florida have to reschedule games. LSU, they had a number of players that were out. We're seeing players at other schools where they're missing starters or key players, or even a larger number of teams. I personally feel that until we get a grasp of what's going on with the pandemic, that football and other sports should be put on the back burner. That we shouldn't be putting these young athletes in a position where they have to choose their health. They're basically put in a position where they have to choose their health over their school. You know, in some instances, it's been reported or it's been communicated that athletes have been told, hey, if you don't play, we're taking back your scholarship. There's been some pressure, you know, by people in the local areas to put on the athletes to have them play. Also, when you're talking about some of the schools are asking athletes to sign waivers if they catch COVID or if they have things or there are complications due to COVID. They're being asked to sign waivers. And I think that in some instances, and many athletes can attest to this, you sometimes need to have someone outside of the immediate situation step in and be the voice of reason. And I say that, for example, if you're an athlete, you know, you might have an injury, you might have some form of an injury, and you might want to be there with your teammates, you might want to show how tough you are, or you just might want to be back in the heat of battle. And sometimes you may need a trainer, a coach, or another teammate or someone in another position to say, hey, you know what, sit this one out, we got this. Or, hey, you know what, this week, we're going to give you another week off. We're going to give you another week of rest to make sure you're fully able to compete at the highest level. And I think that's what needs to be done with football and other sports until we have a good grasp, and I say we, the country, has a good grasp of what's going on with COVID-19 and the long-term effects. Sometimes we need to, and I know in many instances, this is going to be a great segue, many instances, people are pointing to, well, the athletes want to play. They get out there and they want to play, and they're saying that their livelihood is on the stake. They want to play for the love of the game, and they want X, Y, Z. And we need to listen to the athletes. And I think that's true, that we need to listen to the athletes, but it also needs to be done within context. And it can't be within a context or narrative that fits your narrative because you are thirsting to see sports. Not because you are thirsting because you're bored, because your favorite football team isn't playing on Saturday and your sports world has been interrupted. We can't pick and choose when we want to listen to athletes. I'll give you an example. We want to listen to athletes when they say, hey, let us play. COVID-19, we don't care, we'll sign a waiver, we want to play, it doesn't matter. We're going to listen to the athletes. Those same people will turn around and say, when athletes say, we want to be paid, well, you know, those athletes, they're kids. They're on scholarship. They don't really know what the real world is like. They don't know what they're talking about. Unionized, stipend, marketing, likenesses. Well, they don't know what they're talking about. You know, they need to listen to their coaches. So which one is it going to be? because we're talking about listening to athletes when it fits a narrative. Your Saturday is ruined because your Big Ten team or your Pac-12 team isn't playing. So we need to listen to the athletes because, damn it, the athletes want to get out there and play. But those same people don't want to listen to the athletes when the athletes are saying, well, you know what? My likeness is on this jersey or on this poster or on these season tickets. You know, my face is on here. Can I get something for that? Oh, well, you know what? We don't want to hit that conversation. Or the athletes don't know what they're talking about. You know, this goes over their head. This is much bigger than them. This is about the team and the program. So which is it? Are we listening to the athletes or are we not going to listen to the athletes? Because we can't have it both ways. We can't have it when it's convenient for you and it fits a narrative. I do think that the athletes, I do feel as if that the athletes' voices should be taken into consideration, but also want to make sure that we're listening to the right people, which are the medical professionals. You know, coaches have an agenda. You know, they want to make sure that they're putting out a winning product on the field. You know, universities have an agenda. They want to make sure that they're creating revenue, whether it be through merchandising, TV advertisements, local sponsorships, national sponsorships, things like that. They want to create revenue. So there's always an agenda. I always tell people, follow the money. And if we're going to follow the money, and if we're going to be pro-athlete, giving the athletes a voice, then it has to be a full voice, not a convenient voice. So those are my thoughts, and thank you for the question. Those are my thoughts on whether or not the school should be playing during COVID-19. I personally feel that, you know, we don't know enough about this. You know, there's been some games rescheduled, games canceled because there have been outbreaks either at the universities or within certain teams. You know, so we just don't know what we're up against. And I think that, you know, we need to be cognizant of this isn't just something that can be glossed over. And the same people that are saying that they want the game to return, that the students need to play, are the same ones that if something happens to a student and something happens to this person long term, the only thing they're going to be able to say is, our prayers are with the family. Or heaven forbid, even worse, our condolences are with the family. So be careful in terms of, you know, how you want to categorize and prioritize, you know, the voices of athletes. Because if we're going to allow athletes to have a voice, amateur athletes have a voice, then it needs to be a voice across the board, not just when it's convenient and when it fits the narrative for you.